Okay, so today we're going to be talking about film terms because a couple of you contacted me and said, what are all these acronyms you're saying on the day? You know, certain stuff I've been saying in the past couple videos. I'm going to let you know. It's a little bit of a different background here. I'm back in Vancouver. So on the day, when someone tells you, don't worry about it till the day or we'll worry about it on the day means when we're shooting. Let's say we're turning around or we're doing something like that, we're moving and stuff, or someone says make sure you turn this AC off on the day, means probably when we're rolling. So if it's loud, and your key tells you like make sure you turn it off on the day, when we're rolling. Rolling and turnover. Rolling is pretty much like, okay, we're rolling camera, it's action time. Turnover is more commonly used in the British film industry. Turnover is like, someone explained it to me once. I'm probably gonna horribly describe it here, but it means in the old time, in the actual cameras, they would actually have to turn over the film to get it going. I believe that's what it means. You guys can look it up, find a better way to describe what turnover means in the old terms. But we mostly use rolling here in Vancouver, BC. Cutting. I really hope you guys know what cut means. Cut, we've cut the camera. We're not shooting anymore. That's a cut. Spell off. Spell off is like a break. So if you call someone on your walkie, you go to 2 and you're like, hey, I need to spell off. That's just saying, okay, I need a break. Or someone comes spell me off, meaning you take my place so I can go have a smoke or go 10-1. 10-1. 10-1, I think I described in my other videos, but again, 10-1 is just the bathroom. I need to go 10-1. You can use 10-2 if you want to be really specific, but 10-1 is sufficient. But do you? DGC. DGC, I've gotten a lot of questions about. DGC is this union. This union right here. DGC is a union for a whole bunch of different people. You guys can watch my how to get into the film industry. It gives you way more information on the DGC and what it offers and who is all involved in it department-wise and why or when you would want to get in there. Or if you don't even want to watch that, go to the DGC website. They'll tell you everything you need. Give them a phone call if you even want. They're awesome people to talk to. BC Pax. Again, BC Pax is a film website for production assistants. It's one of the best, I think, in my books because it's really good for ASAP calls. So if someone didn't show up on the day, I also described this in my other videos, if someone didn't show up on the day or something like that, and you need an ASAP, you can go on there and there's so many people that will answer if you make a post saying, hey, I need someone out here, Maple Ridge at this time, and so many people will be like, hey, I'm available, and you just pick ones, or you give them a small interview like, do you have experience, blah, 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 and then just tell them, hey, come to this address, and that's usually how it works. Or, like, people post jobs on there like, hey, we're needing people this weekend and stuff. So if you really want to get into the industry, I would definitely hop onto BC Pax's Facebook page because that's a really good way to get in and stay in. Fire watching or / security watching. Fire watching is if it's lunchtime on a set, they could call lunch. You go get your lunch before everyone else so that you can come back and watch the set. So it'll probably be in the middle of the set. You could be walking around. You could, pop squat depending on how big the actual set is. And you're going to be watching, like if the lights are still on. Sometimes they may catch fire because no one's watching them. Apparently this has happened before. I have personally never seen it happen, but it's always good to have someone on set to fire watch. There's tons of power and cords going everywhere. If anything catches fire, you're going to be the person to notice it and make the emergency call to either your ALM or 911. But if, it's not that big of a deal for power or that kind of safety, and it's just a security watch, let's say you're downtown Vancouver, there's tons of people walking around all the time, easy thing to just pick up and steal, and they'll probably have you in the middle just securing all the equipment while the crew goes on lunch and has their lunch while you stay and secure the equipment. Locking it up. So this goes with standby and rolling. If you hear on the radio, the first AD goes, hey, we're going to lock it up. Locking it up means if you're on like an AC switch or whatever, turn off the AC. Sometimes you'll get a specific cue for that, but always be listening to your walkie to know what's going on. So locking up, no more people going in the house, more of like a quick rushing dialogue. Hey guys, we're about to go. We're going to lock it up. Stand by. Stand by would be the next coming words of that. Standing by is we're about to roll. Get ready. Everybody stop kind of working. Put your tools down. Okay, and then we're rolling. Okay, now everybody be quiet type of deal. That's what kind of goes in that order. Turning around, I've explained this in my other videos as well. Turning around is if we've shot it this way, like hypothetically, let's say they're shooting me and they're shooting this way. Okay, we're turning around. Okay, we'll just think of it literally. We're going to turn around, so the camera's going to go this way, or maybe a little bit of different angle, but turning around is also a big cue for you to realize that the tents, like if you're on location on a farm and all the tents were behind the camera, that means you have to fall in or listen to the radio whenever the keys like, okay, we need to move a lot of things quickly to get us to turn around and move as quickly as possible. Turnaround may be a cue for you to come in and help and make sure everything's on the opposite side, because that's what everybody else will be doing, right? Moving on is pretty literal as well. If they say, okay, we got this scene, got it, we're going to move on to the next scene. The first AD is pretty specific on what we're moving on to. We're moving on to scene 17, part 3, something like that. That's what they mean when they're moving on to 2 different shots and stuff like that. Touches. If he's just like, okay, last minute touches is on the actors. So if the first AD's on the radio going, oh yeah, we need touches, last minute touches, that's usually when makeup, hair, sometimes costumes come in, make sure everything's just perfect on the actors for them to get going. That's also another cue for you to kind of be ready if you're not in your spot, to be kind of ready and get back to your spot or something like that. That's almost like a standby for you to be ready. Touches is right before they shoot. I did explain this one as well. Green room and video village. Green room is where the cast will be before they get called to set. So sometimes that's simply just a tent, a 10 by 10 tent with sidewalls on it and their cast chairs in there. That'll be their green room. Video village will be the exact same thing, maybe a 10 by 10 tent or a 10 by 15 tent with walls, and it'll have all the big wigs in there, meaning like director, producer, scripty, sometimes hair and makeup, so they can actually see on the monitor too if like something's off, or they can see something on the face, and sometimes the cast wait in there too, just to watch the other actors. Basically a hub for them. Muster station, hopefully you guys know what this means anyways, but muster station is basically a station where if an emergency happened on set and people had to get out of there, they would know where to go offset. So if it's in a building, usually it's outside of a building. Let's just say hypothetically closer to a more safer area outside of the building where you guys can go in case of a fire or anything else that is going on. You need to evacuate the building. You need to know where your muster station is. I'm giving you guys this definition because usually we have the signs in locations department for muster station. We'll usually have like a wooden muster station sign or something we have to set up and make sure the ADs know where that is so they can let everybody else know to tell them if something does go happen, God forbid. Abby and Martini. Okay, Abby is, if they yell on the radio closer to the end of the day, okay, this is the Abby shot. Abby shot is the second to last shot of the day. So when you hear that, a lot of people are just like, woo, yeah, there's good stuff. And they'll even scream, maybe even just a little bit louder when they hear Martini, because usually Martini is the very last shot of the day. Or sometimes it's called window. There is specific meaning around why they call that what it is. That's usually what it means. If you hear that, you're like, oh, what is all this? Someone says window, that's a good sign. That's a good sign that you're almost ready to go home. Atmosphere, if they're saying they're on set and, oh, we want to add some more atmosphere in here. It's usually a smoke, like a dry ice that special effects usually has. It's like a smoke thing. It's like about, I don't know, yay big, and they have a canister in there, and they'll just hold this and they'll trigger it, turn it on. There'll be smoke coming out of it. They'll usually have a wooden, almost like a big ping pong paddle thing, but it's not. It's a thing to wave the smoke in. To the set, or however much they want to put inside set. So if they say atmosphere, that usually means smoke. Background extras means background and extras, like the people that are walking in the background and stuff like that, the people that have to make it kind of look alive. Like if we didn't have background, it looked kind of weird if it was just the actors and everybody else on Earth was dead. That you need a little bit more human activity in the shot to make it come more alive, make it become more realistic. So in some shots, background is very essential to making the movie what it is. Blocking, rehearsal, walkthrough. Blocking is and walkthrough, I think, are almost the same. Blocking is like, so it's usually going to be the director, sometimes a stunt coordinator if they're doing a stunt, and the actors. They're all going to go on to where they're about to shoot while everybody else is either moving or transitioning into where they have to move for the next shot. The actors and the director will go through a walkthrough of the scene, whether that's just with lines, whether that's physically walking through and blocking it. So they'll block, like say, okay, I'm going to stand here. You are going to stand there, yada, 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 talk it out. Okay, and then you're going to move this way, or you're going to fall this way, or she's going to jump, and something climatic is going to happen. That's blocking and stuff like that. Or once you get into doing lines and stuff, it'll turn into a rehearsal. So do a rehearsal run. Sometimes they shoot the rehearsal. That's kind of funny because people are like, why are we shooting the rehearsal? Just make it work. Just shoot it. Sort of on the same side of that is if you have a double. So if the stunt coordinator is involved in that, the double will want to be in the walkthrough as well. If you have like a double, or let's say I'm just thinking of a situation where you have like a doppelganger or something and you're looking at someone, you're going to need a double to look at or something like that. So that person that'll be brought in is called a double, or a stand-in. A stand-in is more the person that'll stand in while they finish lighting so that the actor can go get dressed or finish what they're working on in the trailers, whether that's lines, getting rewired, whatever. Rewired is where sound is, going to put like one of these on them, but obviously not this big. It'll be like hidden or somewhere on them. So yeah, the stand-in will be the person will sit there and they can look at this person who's they try to pick them to be as similar to the actor as possible. Let's say if they have brown hair and are Caucasian, then they want to try and find brown hair and Caucasian so they'll look the same when they kind of bring the actor back in. Maybe tweak a little bit, but not much. Going tighter, if they're on the radio and they're like, okay, we're going to go tighter and tighter. Tighter is pretty much they're just going to go closer up in shot. So there's not really a lot you need to move. Something is going to be more in focus close to their face, like we're going to go tighter on the face. That's what it means. Call sheet. I really hope you know what a call sheet means, but if you don't, call sheet is, actually, I think I have one up here. This is just a rough one that I did with my friends, so they don't always look like this. They more look like, if you guys can see this one, let me see if I can tilt that up, like that one, or like kind of vaguely like this. So who the actors are going to be, what their position is, when they're going to get picked up, when they, some of their numbers. On the back, it's usually going to be some of the crew, what might be happening, and also the scenes. How many scenes we're going to try and do a day, if we need to do more, if we're moving, if there's a splinter unit. Splinter unit is usually a separate unit that goes somewhere else while the main unit might stay here and pick up more shots, do whatever they need to do. It's just a second group that goes off and does other things. Crossing. The reason I put this in is if you're working closer to the camera or anything like that, and you walk in front of the camera while they're kind of working and doing stuff, make sure you kind of announce that you're crossing camera. They could be trying to focus on the stand-in or something like that. It's kind of nice to just announce that you're going to say, okay, hey, I'm crossing, and they can just kind of hold off for a second and you cross the camera in front of the camera. Eye line. This is important because eye line is usually where the actor is looking in the scene. So, for example, if it's me looking this way and the camera is, let's say, further back, and there's going to be people walking in front of me, and I'm pretty much going to be looking at the camera or off the camera like this. If you're in my eye line, it might put me as an actor off a bit, or I might not be able to focus if there's someone there or someone just staring at me like this. Like, okay, that's really not the greatest thing for you to be. If you notice you're in the eye line of where the actor is going to be for the scene specifically, you might want to move. Or if you can't move, that sucks, but just make sure that they know if you can't move, you can't move. That's your spot. But I have seen it where some actors, if you're in there eye line, just make sure you can get out of the way as much as possible, because some of them get a little angry about that. And I've seen things happen on set where people get fired if you're in the eye line, or you get a talking to from the actor. Just make sure you're clear of it, get out of the way. Or if you're they're shooting it in the middle of the scene and you find you're making eye contact with the actor and they're rolling, that's not a good thing. Get out of their eye line. An establishing shot, or what we like to call it, just an establisher. For example, an establisher is if we're shooting at a house and they want to say, okay, we're going to shoot an establisher. That probably means we're going to be shooting the house wide. We're establishing where we're going to be for the scene, maybe the start of a scene, and it's going to be in this house. So it might be just like this. You're going to say, okay, this is where we're going to be. It's usually not very long, but it usually requires a lot of moving. If we've been shooting in the house all day, people's equipment are outside, it requires a lot of moving to get everybody out of the way. So it's really better to, if you need to do an establisher for a location you're going to, it's better, what I think anyway, to do it right off the bat, because then that means no one's stuff's in there. They can just do it, get it over with before having to take more time out of the day and move everyone's stuff out of the way, right? Okay, so this went a little longer than expected. Make sure you stick around for part 2 next week. Plenty of more film terms to come. Or if you're watching this and it's already been out, then go check it out right now on my channel. Last little thing for you guys, if you're looking for a headset, because you're going to need one on set if you're going to be pulled into studio or anything like that. You can't have an open walkie, or they really recommend you don't have an open walkie because it's louder. Headset can have an earpiece that goes all the way up to your ear, and you also have a mic that you can hold or hook on, like I have my mic right here, and you can talk to it. I'll put some links in the description where you guys can find out some more headsets that are cheaper. There are other options that might be brought to you on set while you're working, but these can definitely start you off for sure and get you going. Sometimes they're better than the ones they offer on set. So check them out, and hopefully everything ramps up so you get lots of use out of all of them. There'll be more things, more gear and stuff for you guys to check out down below if you give it a look. And good luck to you guys. Best of luck to you guys. If y'all liked what you just saw, please like and subscribe and click on any of the new... It's boring. Click on any of the links below. There's plenty of more to come. Yeah, enjoy. Everything is here for you guys.